Management of intracranial hemorrhage. Acute immediate attention to the blood pressure and airway protections can be focused to switch medical and surgical management. 40% of patients with hypertension intracranial hemorrhage die. 40% of the patients with intracranial hemorrhage die. But we manage the airway, breathing and circulation. The airway should be maintained, but hyperventilation should be avoided. Hyperventilation should be avoided because the hyperventilation can cause the vasoconstriction of the cerebral vessel. This can cause the vasoconstriction of the cerebral vessel vessels. Breathing should be maintained and circulation should be maintained. Any coagulopathy should be corrected as soon as possible. If there is coagulopathy, this coagulopathy should be corrected as soon as possible. For example, taking vitamin K antagonist. If the patient is taking vitamin K antagonists, rapid correction of coagulopathy can be achieved by infusing prothrombin complex concentration. The prothrombin complex concentration in the coagulopathic patient. This can be administered quickly with vitamin K administered. This can be administered with the vitamin K administration. Fresh frozen plasma is an alternative, but since it requires large volumes and longer time to achieve the adequate consequences, the fresh frozen plasma can be administered, but it requires a large volume and long time. We must prefer the prothrombin complex concentration with vitamin K if there is suspected coagulopathy. The idarucizumab is a monoclonal antibody. It also administered at 2 doses to reverse the anticoagulation effect. The idarucizumab is a monoclonal antibody. It is administered at 2 doses. It is administered at 2 doses of the idarucizumab, 2 doses to reverse the coagulopathy. It can be administered. The surgical intervention not normally done at the early stages because there is no effect and no decrease the mortality rate at the early stage. If there is a thrombocytopenia, and the platelets is less than 50,000. If the platelet is less than 50,000, so we give the infused platelets. If this is less than the 50,000, so we infuse the fresh platelets. The blood pressure lowering drugs is being considered to the theoretical risk of acutely elevated blood pressure and the hematoma expansions. If we give the antihypertensive, there is theoretical risk to expand hematoma. So we must maintain the BP. We must maintain the systolic blood pressure at 180 to 160 to 180 mm of Hg. So we must maintain the BP to 180 to 160 to 180 mm of Hg. 160 to 180 mm of Hg. The blood pressure should be maintained at this range, because if we give the antihypertensive and decrease the BP rapidly, it can cause the expansion of hematoma. Theoretical risk for the expansion of the hematoma. Surgery within 24 hours of lobar supratentorial hemorrhage did not improve the overall outcome. If we do the surgery, if surgery is advised, surgery within 24 hours cannot improve the symptom and outcome, So we do surgery late. For cerebellar hemorrhage, a surgeon should be, a neurosurgeon should be consulted. For cerebellar hemorrhage, if there is cerebellar hemorrhage, the neurosurgeon should be consulted to assist the evaluation of most cerebellar hematoma. If the hematoma is greater than 3 cm in diameter, will require the surgical evaluation. If the hematoma is greater than 3 cm, it requires surgical evaluation. If the hematoma is 1 to 3 cm, so in this case we keep the patient on observation. We keep the patient on observation. If the hematoma is 1 to 3 cm, we keep the patient on observation. If the hematoma is greater than 3 cm, the surgical evaluation is needed. If the hematoma is greater than 3 centimeters. If there is a midline shift of structures with consequent obturation, coma, or hydrocephalus, so we give the osmotic agents. If there is hydrocephalus or hydrocephalus, we give the osmotic agents like mannitol infusion, IV form. We give the mannitol to prevent the rising of intracranial pressure. We should maintain the cerebral perfusion pressures at 50 to 70 mm of Hg. We should maintain the cerebral perfusion at 50 to 70 mm of Hg. We should maintain the cerebral perfusion pressure at 50 to 70 mm of Hg. What is cerebral perfusion pressure? The cerebral perfusion pressure is main arterial pressure minus intracranial pressure. Main arterial pressure minus intracranial pressure. We can determine the cerebral perfusion pressure by this formula. Cerebral perfusion pressure is equal to main arterial pressure minus intracranial pressure, and we maintain the cerebral perfusion pressure at 50 to 70 mm of Hg.